Several years ago, the university had an opportunity to potentially purchase the 40 acres adjacent to the campus, essentially, that Fayetteville High School is on. And in order to be able to position ourselves to execute that, should it happen, we proposed a student credit hour facility fee. And that was initiated in FY09, approved back in the spring of '08. And during the summer of that year, the decision was made with our new chancellor that just wasn't going to work out. And what we then proposed, starting in the fall, is to use that resource and build it into a larger plan to work on 25 to 75 years of deferred maintenance, renewal, renovation across the entire campus. It's important for a number of reasons. From visual reasons, we have a number of buildings, Kemple Hall being one, Science being another, that really haven't changed since the mid to late 60s when they were first built, early 70s. The furniture looks more like a collection from a Salvation Army store than it does a leading edge research Carnegie institution, a land-grant institution. Our general teaching labs, chemistry labs, students coming out of Arkansas K-12 institutions come out of labs that are better than what they find at their state's flagship institution. Those are visual things, but behind the walls is a huge story. It's indoor air quality, it's asbestos in some cases, it's very inefficient equipment, in some cases marginally safe equipment because of its age, and modern equipment that's been laid in on top of buildings that still have fuses in some of the main panels. Air handlers are well beyond their life expectancy. Our energy consumption is significantly higher than it should be. All of those things create an academic environment that we want to achieve, but we're unable to achieve that high stature of academic teaching environment just because of what's there, and it's accumulated over the last 50 to 75 years. We have actually gone through over 400 classrooms and general teaching labs and done what we call an academic condition assessment. We've looked at technology, we've looked at classroom furniture, floor coverings, wall coverings, types of blackboards, green boards, white boards, gray boards, projectors, screens, window coverings, ceiling, air conditioning equipment, noise from the air conditioning equipment, light controls, type of light. And then we're developing a priority list. We'll do it by building. We'll lay over the top of that the building prioritization scheme we've been using all along, which is the number of student semester credit hours taught in each building on campus. We really just started this late in FY09, so about a year ago. We have underway the renovation of Davis Hall, which is the old law programs building. That, in fact, since it's not an academic function, it's more of an administrative staff function, that particular work is being financed out of the development operating funds as opposed to either student fees or operating budget. But that's about a $4 million project. It's a great building, and it's coming along in a superb fashion. We should commence full work on Peabody Hall, the College of Education and Health Professions building adjacent to the graduate education building this summer. That'll be about a 2-year project, 18 to 20 month duration construction. We've been working on it for some months now, doing some destructive forensics in the building to make sure we don't have any surprises. That's about an $8.8 million project, and that'll totally renovate that building. And coming down the road will be a renovation in addition to Vol Walker, will be a renovation in addition to Ozark Hall, and a renovation in addition to the old health center for a new nursing education building and speech disorders and hearing clinic. In addition, the Pryor Center and Space Center efforts to find new homes for each of them are progressing through the planning and programming phases, and will be a replacement for the Science Engineering Auditorium. We're calling that project the Hillside Auditorium Project. That'll probably involve demolition of the old ordnance building, now the geology building. All of those are in the early phases. They should complete in the next probably 3 years, 2 to 3 years. The nanoscale building is going to be completed here in the next probably 8 to 10 months. Our goal ultimately is to renovate 150 to 160 of our classrooms. We have in the neighborhood of 330 to 350 classrooms, probably in the neighborhood of 50 to 60 general teaching labs, depending on how you define them. So we've gotten 2 prototypes completed in Kemple. We're working on a third, and we're looking at different types of technology and trying to involve faculty and staff, both the technicians and the associate deans in the schools and colleges that are involved with facilities, but the teaching faculty as well, through the Faculty Senate, Teaching Faculty Support Center, the Teaching Council. 3 down, 8 to 10 to do this summer, with a goal of 150 to 160. General teaching labs, we've completed 2. We're working on bits and pieces of probably about 8 more, 6 to 8, this spring and this summer. Our goal is 30 to 35 of the general teaching labs, from all the way from completely renovated to modified and technology added, but not doing a complete modification. The ones we have done in the science building, we essentially stripped the room to the bare walls and ceiling and started over. And we actually have some of the old labs right next to them and the new labs, and it's just a huge difference when you go between the two. And we've gotten great comments on a couple of prototypes in the Kemple Hall area that we've renovated.
Both instructors and students are deeply grateful to be able to have conversations in this kind of environment where we can bring in so many outside resources, where we really can look at what's going on in the global community in real time. I can have my students watch the same newscast that my aunt who's sitting in Freiburg, Germany is watching that evening from her living room. So it's not a luxury anymore, it's a necessity, and it's a necessity that we all really, really appreciate.
I'd like to say that it is really a joy and exciting to see the new labs and how they've turned out. The technology for teaching is there now. We have an overhead screen to show the safety video, to show any other videos that we need that's already there. If you have a laptop, you can show clips from the internet. Previously, you were not able to do that. The only thing you had available was the chalkboard. And in the new labs, they have the safety equipment that if something does happen, hopefully it doesn't, but if it does, then the students are safer in that they can get to the safety equipment much faster than the old. The new labs also have the book bag cubby holes, which keeps the books off the floor and keeps things safer, and it's easier to move around the lab than the old lab did.
There's 4,000 to 5,000 2- and 4-year institutions in this country, and I would venture to say that probably less than 50 have a program that allows them to dedicate resources to attack their deferred maintenance, deferred renewal, deferred renovation projects on a campus. And I stress it's renewal, renovation, deferred maintenance. This is not building new structures. Anything that we're building, we're trying to use private money, gifts, donation, endowment. The money that we're using from operating budget, the money we're using from the student credit hour facility fee is focused, it's dedicated, it's like a laser beam on renewal, renovation, and eliminating our deferred maintenance and creating the most outstanding academic teaching environment we could possibly create.